What's up, guys, and welcome to Wolf Talk. Today is a solo episode. If you guys are not familiar with Wolf Talk, I sit down with other creatives, anyone who shoots, edits, music videos, or anyone in the filmmaking world or freelance videography, and we basically talk about gear, tips, tricks, shooting, and how we all started out. Today is a solo episode, and I'm going to be talking about my podcast setup, how I set up my podcast, what I use to run my podcast, why I run my podcast, why I started it, pretty much all about my podcast. So if you guys are looking to get into podcasting, definitely this is the episode for you. Or if you're just wondering what I use, why I do this podcast, my camera is about to die. That sucks. Let's hold up. So let's start off why I started this podcast. I had the idea for a really long time. So I started this podcast before it really wasn't a podcast. I thought it'd be cool to do an interview section on my channel with different artists. It was a lot of work doing the actual video with all the B-roll over it. You could look at it early on in the playlist on YouTube, and it's really just like an interview with Dars. That was the first one. I think that was the first and only one I did. And then it ended up just being like YouTube segments where I just talked at the camera. I knew I eventually wanted to turn it into a podcast. I just wasn't really sure how. Then I was going to school at San Francisco State. I was listening to a lot of podcasts on my way to school, and I got more inspired to start a podcast because some of the podcasts that I've listened to, if you guys want to check them out, is the Black with No Cream podcast. That's a really cool one. It's about different creatives. It's ran by Ben. His name's Ben Real World on Instagram, and he's on tour with like Beyonce and stuff like that, and he has a really dope podcast. Another one I used to listen to is Justin O.D. Show, of course. He was on the podcast probably a few weeks ago, so make sure to check that one out if you guys have not. But I really want to start a podcast because there's a lot of music video directors, editors, all sorts of talent here in the Bay Area that I wanted to personally sit down and talk to. And I also just want to link up with a lot of other creatives online that I haven't really seen on a podcast. And I kind of wanted to focus on the questions that I've always wanted to know when I was starting out, because there wasn't too many podcasts on the people that I really looked up to. So I wanted to try and talk to them and just get in their head, learn about their process, learn about the gear that they use. So that's why I do the Invest in Yourself segment, is because I just want to know, like what gear would you recommend someone starting out with? What's a piece of gear that you think helps set you apart? Stuff like that. So if you guys have any suggestions when you listen to the actual Wolf Talk podcast when I'm interviewing people, let me know if you guys think there should be any improvements or any new segments, because I love hearing your guys' ideas. Shoot me a DM, drop me a comment on YouTube, whatever works best for you guys. Just let me know. So where I post my podcast. So actually, let's get into how I record it. So originally, my original podcast setup was a Zoom H4n, which is a cheaper Zoom, and it has two XLR inputs where you could plug in the microphones. And I started off with two Shure microphones. They're SM58 CN Dynamic Vocal Cardioid microphones. If you guys want to look at all this gear, just click the link below. I have a link to my podcast kit, and you guys can purchase all this crap right there. But yeah, these were two microphones that came with two XLR cables, and this is what I started the podcast with, and you had to hold them with your hand. And it kind of sucked because you had to hold them up to your mouth the entire podcast. But they're pretty cheap. They're only $100 and they sound really good. And then I just bought these little foam microphone pieces that went over them, and they came with XLR cables. So that was about, I'd say that's about $300 to start a podcast right there. There's tons of other ways you could start a podcast. You could, if you want to do like a solo one like this, you could even just buy like I'm showing this on the video. I have this here, the Blue Yeti microphone. That's only like $75, and you could just record right into an old laptop. I'll link that one below as well. You could probably even get two of those and do two podcasts. That's $160. I like the Shure. The reason I went with the Shure microphones and I didn't get the set up on the table is because my podcast is a little bit mobile. I don't have a specific place to do it. In the future I will, but right now I just go out wherever I can. If I'm out shooting, and then I could even rock one of these out in the car. I could do one, I don't know where else. I do one at my friend's Studio Combats. I could pull up on someone, do it at their studio or do it at their house, and I could really do this podcast anywhere. So that's one thing that I liked, is the versatility and I don't know what the right word is, just how flexible this podcast setup is. So that one was cool, but I hate holding the microphones, and my guests hated holding the microphones. They never put them up to their mouth, and it kind of messed up the quality of my podcast. So I saw someone else with this setup, what I'm rocking right now, and these are headphones. So these are Audio-Technica BP HS1 broadcast stereo headsets with dynamic cardioid boom mic. The cool thing about this is it's got like the Britney Spears type mic right here, and you can put it up to your mouth, and then your hands free. You can do whatever you want. You could drink water. You could, I don't know, you could do whatever. You could text on the phone. And so these are $200. I bought 2 of them, and they plug, and then I upgraded my Zoom as well. I have the Zoom, which Zoom do I have? I have the Zoom H6 6-track portable recorder. You could get away with using the H4n. I was tired of that one though. I had it for a really long time. It's a solid Zoom though, but I just wanted to upgrade. So this one has more auxiliary ports, and I heard it has better preamps. I'm not sure, but I really do like the way it sounds, and I don't know, I just like the interface a lot better. But you can get away with any other recorder, Tascam. Not really going to go into that. I'm just telling you guys what I use. So yeah, I like the way these worked better. And then you're going to need 2 attachments. So I had to get, what's this called? I had to get the 1/4 inch, which is like the big thing that you plug into the headphones to go into the Zoom, because it doesn't have one of those for some reason. So I had to get 1/4 inch to the auxiliary port, the 35 millimeter. I think that's what it is, jack. So it was a converter for that, and then I had to get a splitter as well, so both me and the guest can hear ourselves in the headphones. And that's one thing I liked a lot more than the Shure microphones, is that you can hear yourself in the headphones. So it kind of cancels out all the other noise, so you're not hearing garbage trucks drive by or people talking. Like, you're really focused in on the conversation. So I really like that. I was on another podcast, I had these on, and I enjoyed it a lot more, just because I felt like, I don't know, like you're in your own space with this person, and you could really just hone in and focus on the conversation. So that's what I use. I use the splitter, like I said, so you can plug it in. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a basic SD card. And then where I upload my stuff to, originally I did it to SoundCloud. I saw some video, I did it to SoundCloud, and I paid for all the SoundCloud crap. It would not go on to Spotify. So I ended up changing, and I upload my stuff now to Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout's pretty cool. I don't know how much I pay. I think I pay like $15 a month or something. I paid for I had to upgrade because I've been uploading a lot more. But I can schedule everything, and it will post it everywhere for me. Let me look of where. So it'll go to Apple Podcasts, it'll go to Google, it'll go to Spotify, it'll go to Stitcher. I don't even know what Stitcher is. And it'll go to Alexa, and then they give you like an RSS feed. Another website you can use, I heard, is Podbean. I'm pretty sure that's one. Yep, that's Podbean. You can upload yours there. Let me look at the pricing on that. Yeah, like $9 a month. You get unlimited storage space. Maybe I should switch. But yeah, so that's the difference. I mean, there's tons of podcasting apps and places you can do this. So make sure to look in that if you guys want to start our podcast. If you guys enjoyed this podcast and found it helpful, make sure to drop a comment. Make sure to leave me a review on iTunes or Google Play, whatever you're listening to this on, and screenshot it. Share it to your story. Tag me. I'm going to repost you. Tell your friends about it if you're like, hey, man, your videos kind of suck, or you need to start shooting more videos. Listen to this guy's podcast. Check out his YouTube videos. That stuff really helps me out, because I do not make money off this podcast, and I'm going to start telling you guys that, because I don't make any money off this podcast. I just do it to help you guys out. I do it because I like talking to random people and meeting people and making connections, and I like hearing you guys. I like hearing your guys' feedback about the podcast. So thank you for listening. You guys are the best. I'm Tyler Casey. I hope you guys like this dope little beat playing right now. I like it. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.